In this video, I'm going to showcase you some battles from a day where I had 27 wins in 30 battles. This is the team that I used. The lead is Unova's Stunfisk. It's very flat, the sprite, so you don't see it very well. But that's the Pokemon, the electric and ground type. It covers other electric type Pokemon and also water type Pokemon. I'm targeting specifically the Dene with this. The safe switch can be either Fearow or Dewgong. Fearow, of course, buffed with Peck. Now a Shadow Claw clone. Drill Pack just being a very efficient and quick charge attack. And then Dewgong, I think, is really good again because Lapras is basically gone at the moment. So that makes Dewgong a perfect Pokemon to counter flying type and ground type Pokemon such as Marowak and Drifblim, Glare Moltres, all that kind of stuff. That's why I think Dewgong is really good right now. The safe switch depends on what lead I see and what kind of feel I have with it. If I face something or a person or a team where I feel like, okay, this person runs Degen, I prefer to safe switch Dewgong because it's likely that they might have something like Carbink or Bastiodon, and obviously Dewgong doesn't do great there, but I have triple ground type coverage, meaning that I can always deal super effective damage back, and since Dewgong is a little bit bulkier and Fearow has better sweep potential, I like to safe switch Dewgong in that scenario. In the first battle, I'm gonna go straight into something I found that I did wrong. Fisk into Primate. My opponent is going to switch out into Shadow Marowak, and this is something I do wrong. I swap in Dewgong, and I realize afterwards that Fearow is a much better answer here because the energy is always valuable everywhere. I'm gonna let this Rock Slide go, but Rock Slide has been buffed, does more damage now, and now the Shadow Marowak can shield and farm it all the way down, which is far from optimal. Dewgong can force his matchup if you really want to, but you'd have to be the first one to shield here. So at this point, I'm like, well, I'm just going to put everything on Fearow. They already revealed a Primate. Surely they have a better answer for my Stunfisk in the back. So probably like a ground type Pokemon, maybe. I've seen a lot of double ground. So I'm just going to go into Ufisk, soak the energy there, get to a Mud Bomb, pace him slightly. I didn't want to shield a Rock Slide. I wanted to keep that shield for the Fearow. So they actually shield there, which is an interesting play. Bone Club doesn't even knock me out now. Hard Swap into the Fearow. In comes Corviknight, which is interesting because why didn't they just stay with the Primate, right? This is a Pokemon actually really weak to Ufix, so it wouldn't even have helped them otherwise. This point, I have to decide where to use my shields. I'm not going to shield the first Air Cutter. Corviknight has the fast attack, Scent attack, double resisted. We're not immune here and go. But it does feel like it because it does no damage. The problem is Air Cutter comes out every 4.5 seconds, which is slightly faster than my Drill Pack. And that means that at some point I have to start using shields. And also I have to make sure that I can outpace the Primate to a potential cross chop. I don't want to take any chances that it might have it. So I have to be careful of a potential catch. He doesn't catch. I farmed up perfectly, so I should outpace the Primate. I believe I'm 2 or 3 off another Drill Pack here. I'm 2 off. I'm really slow here. They actually could have caught, but this Drill Pack is going to one-shot the Primate, 2 fragile Pokemon on each other. In comes Shadow Marowak, but it has no energy, and I'm going to... it actually did have energy. It has a Bone Club, but this Bone Club is not going to be enough because Fearow is a Fly-type Pokemon. It's going to hang on there. In this next battle, I do win the lead. I have Ufisk against Corviknight. This is a great match for Ufisk. Even if they land a payback, that is fine with me. My opponent is staying in. A lot of these flying type Pokemon teams are like ABA weak to electric, which is crazy in a meta where the Dene is so prevalent and core breaking everything, but apparently Ufisk does the same. They try to make a catch here, and I have to make a choice in what do I switch. I'm gonna go into my normal type Pokemon, but this is deceptive about Fearow. It actually doesn't do that well into both Galarian Corsola and Dusclops. Galarian Corsola wins the 0 shield and the 2 shield scenario if it has 1 Astonish advantage. Otherwise, you do destroy it in the 2s. This thing has Ice Punch, and as you can see, 2 will knock out. Now, my opponent is kind of just goofing. They're overfarming for no reason. They could have pulled a shield instead. Now they're using a shield. And at this point, I feel like, well, I'm just gonna let this go. I could have actually shielded here and get 2 shields down, but I didn't want that. I like Dewgong with shields up. I'm gonna go into the Dewgong hoping that they would throw an Ice Punch, but they throw Shadow Punch. It's fine. I'm gonna get a farm down here. And then I already have a Discharge stored. So they come back in with the Corviknight. I swap back into my Ufisk, take a shield. Hopefully, or the knockout, or get really close to knocking out, so this Pokemon won't be a threat anymore. The danger in this is that they could come in with a Mud Slapper and that they would farm me down entirely. There's no Mud Slapper though, there's a Lapras. You can see my opponent would have been helpless into Especially the Dene. Like, the Dene would have wrecked that. It's not even fun. And now they bring in their Dugong answer. Like, this Pokemon is extremely strong into Dugong, but they're using it here because it's better than Corviknight is into Ufisk. And because I didn't pull any shields either, I can use them all on the Ufisk. I'm gonna get this really low. I didn't even mean to catch here, but at this point, the Lapras is so low, I was like, they're not even gonna get to a Skull Bash. I can maybe get 1 or 2 Ice Shard here. This will win me the battle because the Corviknight's coming in, and I'm not going to shoot the first one because Air Cutter can boost their attack. They do get to the Air Cutter. They do get the boost. At this point, I do shield because if it's a payback, it would knock out, and I don't want that. And that is the payback. And now I Icy Wind, and this will, I think, knock out the Corviknight. Might get close, not knocking out just yet. Let's see. 2 more Ice Shards does knock out, and now 1 more Ice Shard or 2 more Ice Shard maybe on the Lapras. That is a good game. In the next battle, I win the lead. Ufisk into Drifblim. This always comes with ground/water type Pokemon in the back. Usually Shadow Drifblim can be ABA weak to the Dene because they usually just stay and Astonish a lot. This time I bring in Dugong. Now earlier I said I would bring Fearow into ground type Pokemon, but that would only be into Mud Slappers. This Pokemon, however, Fearow doesn't do that hot because Diggersby just outbulks it massively. This is a Mud Shoal Diggersby, by the way, so Fearow probably would have been fine. The thing is, if there is a K-Wack in the back, that is where I want my Fearow. I think that's a little bit more solid. I wasn't counting here. This is only a Fire Punch. I didn't count, so I wasn't aware, and I wasn't going to take any chances. The thing is, if they come with Drifblim, Drifblim cannot even take 2 charge stacks here. So I'm going to go for the Ice Wind. And if they no-shoot, I'm actually very tempted to switch out here because I want to keep this Ice Wind for the potential Shadow Marowak in the back. I don't even know yet at this point if it is. They go for the Ice Wind here. No shield this because it is less than a Rock Slide, and Mud Slap is double resisted. In the back is a Guzzlord though. They're triple weak to my Dugong, and I let it go that easily. So yeah, of course that's in hindsight. But at this point, I'm just gonna get to all these charge stacks. Guzzlord now only needs 3 Dragon Tail for a Brutal Swing in exchange for less damage though, which is very great. It's great for this opponent. I'm gonna go into a Ufisk here because I was hoping they would throw immediately, but they don't. Yeah, I have an Ice Wind stored though, so I think I should be very fine. I'm gonna throw it here. So we'll do a lot of damage. They have no shields, so if they clear this, that's fine. Then I just farm down or get a lot of energy on that Drifblim. In fact, they can't even stay in because I would Ice Shard them down. Now I can Thundershock down this Drifblim. Doesn't even get to a charge stack. I have a Mud Bomb stored. And even though they win charge stack priority tie, there's nothing that could knock me out here. I believe this has Dragon Claw, Crunch, Brutal Swing, Sludge Bomb. That's the entire moveset. None of those are going to knock out. I wonder why this Pokemon doesn't learn Boom Burst. Look at how loud it looks. My next opponent has a Pokemon that's been overhyped so much. Shadow Gyarados, I do not think is good. It has low stats. And its attacks just don't do that much. Aqua Tail, of course, does a lot, but Dragon Breath, not same type attack bonus, doesn't help in this case. Wigglytuff. Now, you actually pace equally fast to Wigglytuff, which makes this interesting. So, I don't really care about swapping in a little bit later. I'm gonna farm up a charge stack because if they want to go for switch here, they have to use protect shields. And once I can strip shields away, that Gyarados becomes really prone to a charge stack of mine. So whether that's a drill pack from my Fearow or a discharge from my Ufisk, it doesn't really matter because both are going to do so much damage to the Shadow Gyarados. Right, it's a Pokemon that really relies on shield, and if you don't have switch advantage, you want to flip it, it just kind of becomes very iffy. Even if they have a ground type now, I should be very fine here. Go for the Ice Wind, that's fine. Get Thundershock down. I have 2 attacks here. They come in with a Torterra. Definitely a good counter to my Ufisk, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, just want shields here. I'm going to go for a drill pack. They have to shield that. That will do a lot of damage. And look at how little Dragon Breath does now with this rework. Yes, you get to Aqua Tail within 4.5 seconds, but it doesn't matter. My opponent also let me sneak a pack, so now I outpace. Torterra is a grass-type Pokemon, so it also takes super effective from flying, and Fearow is just going to clean this up because it gets so quickly to drill pack. We're not even going to find out. That is a good game. The next battle, gonna be a little bit cheesy here. We win the lead extremely hard. I want my Ufisk on this, or I want shields down. But in this battle, what I want to showcase is that Dugong is just straight up very relevant. It's gonna be very good in this match, even though I take super effective damage from this Thunder Punch. After a debuff, the second one will not knock out, meaning that I will win the 0 to 1 shield scenario here. They do shield that up, and now if my opponent wants to flip switch, be my guest. Everyone has a Mud Slapper in this meta. But that's not going to matter because I have Drill Run on my Fearow. In fact, all my Pokemon have ground type attacks, which is very convenient in this meta. Look, they shield that up. Now I'm going to soak everything on Ufisk because if my opponent goes for switch feathers, I'm just going to assume that they have a Mud Slapper in the back. And in that case, Fearow is just really good with a shield advantage. The Aquatail does nothing. They had a lot of energy though, so I'm going to take the next one as well. This is double debuff, that's why it does so little damage. And now I swap in Fearow. Whatever they come in with, it comes with the Dene. I'm 1 ahead. You also win Charge Security Tie with Fearow, so I only need to be 1 ahead. This does 75% approximately, almost knocks out. My opponent is even going to throw a Parabolic Charge here. And even though this game is probably over anyway, that's kind of a mistake, because now they buff their defense, meaning I will get more farm. I come out with a full drill pack. They come in with the other Pokemon, so be it. I will just farm it down, potentially use a shield, and then flying and ground is just so good. Even into this Pokemon, Great Dilly, I just have to be careful that they don't catch. This is probably one of the less convenient Pokemon that I want to see, because as you can see, 2 Drill Pack are not enough to knock it out. But with packs, it should do the job though. On even energy, it's not that hot, just because Rock Tombs are going to debuff my attacks and then they won't knock out anymore. I'm gonna go for a Mud Bomb. I have a Drill Pack stored. That catch maybe wasn't necessary, but my opponent tried to flex me with a catch. So I tried to flex on them. Actually, that was the win condition. It's kind of nonsense. But anyway, punishment for running the Den. That's a better argument. Mud Bomb coming through, that wins the game. In this next battle, I'll show you how to appropriately answer a Shadow Marowak lead. This is a decent lead because I outpace to my second and third charge stack, so I win this matchup. They swap into a Shadow Marowak. I answer with my Fearow this time. In the first game of this video, I answered with Dugong. This is the better answer, and I'll show you why. Drill Pack comes through. This might also be a little bit IV dependent, or if they let you sneak one. Some of these Marowak get to 2 charge stacks, some of them don't. This should only be... they don't even get that, by the way, but that would have only been a Bone Club. In comes Shadow Empoleon. And this is why you shield on Fearow, because you probably get them back anyway, and they cannot even overfarm that much. They let it go entirely. In comes Wigglytuff. At this point, the game is just kind of over, because I have Dugong in the back. And I realize, wait, why do I not just show my Dugong throw it in? Maybe the top left if I'm lucky. And they do, because they can't win it anymore. In the next battle, reminder, if you run Giratina against me, you will make it to the video. But I have 2 better answers here. Even though this Pokemon does pack Ancient Power, and they could actually run Dragon Breath, and then Fearow's not that great into it. They answer with Shadow Scizor there, and this is a very awkward matchup for Fearow. Yes, Peck does more damage now, but Bullet Punch is still a way better fast attack in terms of damage. So their Bullet Punch is just going to do more damage. They don't go for Charge Security Tie, which Shadow Scizor should win. They go for a far down instead. Actually, what looked to be a good matchup, or what looked to be fine, is now actually pretty iffy. They need 2 Trailblaze here to knock me out. A Night Slash won't do it, but if they throw Night Slash here, I have to throw immediately before they get to the second, and I don't want that. I used this team, my opponent, or this composition so far, as well for quite a bit at the end of this last season, but then with Shadow Marowak as the third. So I'm hoping it's that. It's a regular Marowak instead, and they did even bring that in, so they're ahead in energy. I just have to make sure that I'm ahead in energy as well for when the Giratina comes in, because then it will likely throw an Ancient Power, and that's not Pog. I don't want that. I'm gonna go for the Ice Wind here. I believe Giratina had about 4 Shadow Claw here, but this Marowak still gets to a Rock Slide, so they need 2 more for the Ancient Power. I assume that they swap in immediately here, so I throw the Ice Wind immediately. In comes Giratina. At this point, they need a Dragon Claw or Shadow Force even to knock out my Ufisk. This will almost put them into Mud Bomb range, but not entirely yet. The thing is, I think that this will put them in 1 Ice Shard range, and as long as they cannot get 2 Charge Stacks here, I should be okay. They now have a Dragon Claw and an Ancient Power. They win this game. It's only an Ancient Power though, and that's resisted, so that's not going to do it. My opponent top left's good game. In the next battle, I lead my Ufisk into a Shadow Pidgeot. Great lead. I resist everything from this Pokemon. They swap into a Bug Bite Fortress. Now this is very awkward. There's 2 things that go through my mind right now. 3 actually. First, they probably have a Ground type in the back. So if I lose my Ufisk here, That's life, I guess. Then it won't be aligned to the ground type if I look at it in the most positive way. Second off, Dugong is also quite good into Pidgeot. And third off, if I can get shields down, Pharaoh annihilates that Pidgeot like a drill pack plus some pack will knock it out. I'm gonna let this go. That's unfortunately an Earthquake. I need to get a pack down. If they get to a Rock Tomb, this is actually not that great because I'd have to shield and I would be debuffed. In comes the Pidgeot. Because they didn't get to the Rock Tomb, I will throw this Drill Pack, which will be shielded, otherwise would have done about 50% damage. Now I'm going to my Dugong, I have a shield advantage. They have a Gastrodon in the back, and like I said, it was a Mud Slapper in the back. And because Gastrodon now usually runs Body Slam and Water Pulse instead of Earth Power, the Water type Pokemon like Dugong and Azumarill and Lapras, they actually do a little bit better. They're actually, Lapras maybe not. I know Lapras can lose a 2-shield straight Body Slam, but Dugong does fine here. Because I just keep debuffing this, and at this point, I should be very fine. Pharaoh is still very, very healthy. Now, if my opponent does have Feather Dance, this could get a little bit obnoxious, but I should be very fine here. I get the entire farm down. I come out with an Icy Wind. I'm not sure if I live a Gust here, so I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to go for the Ice Wind on bad timing. That's fine. A full Gust goes through. Grab the last shield. If this is a Feather Dance, I might need 2 attacks, but I think that I live some more gusts anyway, so it should be fine. They go for the Air Cutter. That's definitely not going to do it. This Drill Pack will knock out the other normal and flying type birds, and that is a good game. In his next game, I play against a Shadow Dusknoir. Now, what I've learned about a Shadow Dusknoir lead is that usually people running this team want to force switch advantage. So they might have something like a Wigglytuff and Bastiodon in the back. Could also be a Mud Slapper, of course. For that reason, I'm not going to invest any shields here. Because Dusknoir wins a lot of 2-shield scenarios just because Astonish is so oppressive, along with Shadow Punch and Dynamic Punch. They actually went for the Dynamic Punch there because they just want to farm me down here. I'm not going to let them, so I swap into my Pharaoh now. If they have a Bastiodon, I'm fine there. They actually swap in a Shadow Empoleon. Guys, this is not a Pharaoh swap-in when you're one behind. Duron comes through, knocks it out entirely. In the back is Galarian Corsola. That is a good game. Very quick battle. But I just want to show that the energy from Pharaoh is wicked. And shoot up, it can go wild. And then the final battle, I get another great lead like many other. Maybe that's why I went 27 and 30. They lead Murkrow, which I think is a very copium Pokemon. And this time, again, I swap in my Pharaoh into their Shadow Marowak save switch. Now, I don't need switch advantage here, but it could be double ground. So maybe I should go for it. So I will shield this. The thing is, Shadow Murkrow has, like Murkrow on its own already has 1500 stat products. If I land a Drill Pack, they probably just one-shots. They do shoot up this attack here, and I'm actually going to let this go because I don't need switch. And look at this, a Rock Slide actually knocks out Pharaoh. Very unfortunate. I'm going to go for an aggressive Thundershock down. They get to an attack, unfortunately. That's life. I expect another ground type in the back, so if I throw like 1 or 2 Mud Bomb, they're in Icy Wind range, and I think I should be very fine. It is a Gastrodon in the back. I could get to another attack here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to swap out, because let's say there will be a scenario where they swap out very late into their Murkrow, and the timer's up, I can unleash my Discharge there to one-shot it. I will make sure to overfarm here. If I am not to my next Ice Wind within 3 Ice Shards, the Murkrow could come in and get to a Drill Pack. Now they cannot. They come in with the Murkrow now, which is, I think, not exactly a great play. They probably should have taken some energy on Gastrodon first. But if they shielded that, I would have gone to another, so it doesn't matter. They go for the energy immediately. That's very smart because they know I'm at an Icy Wind, so this damage now is not debuffed. But Body Slam is not a strong attack, and after this Icy Wind, I should be able to lift the Mud Slap and the Body Slam that comes with it as well. They even no-shield that for some reason. Ice Wind, I believe, does more damage than a Mud Bomb, but it doesn't matter. I get the Mud Slap down. That's a good game. So that's the team. Rice also went 24-1 on his stream, so you may have seen it before. It's been catching up a little bit. And you may also want to think about how to counter it. So hope you liked the video and see you next one. Bye.